Hello, everybody. So we're here at the Off-Grid Couples Movement Center in Tampa, Florida. That's the Culhane household in our 40-foot Keystone Cougar RV. And I'm here with Tiziana and Justin, who have just joined us here in Florida from New York. Tiziana was working at the United Nations on waste issues. And Justin is a energy efficiency building expert. That's one way of putting it.
Passive house.
Passive house. Yes. Although we're going to be very active here. And then, of course, we have Inas, who is from a village in Palestine where living off-grid has been a tradition for thousands of years. And now, as we get into the 21st century, becomes more and more a model for the way that we can all do it with the mix of modern technology and ancient technology and wisdom. So we're just going to take a quick tour of the different things we have to power the house, and thought you might like to go with us. And so I think maybe I can turn this camera around and put this in your hands.
Yes.
And then have Justin, or actually, Justin, why don't you tape your wife doing this, because there's more appeal in this world where we men know that we're here to serve, nothing else. So the first thing to talk about is the biogas, and then we'll go out and see how the photovoltaics powers our domicile with its microwave oven and its dishwasher and its washing machine and its big screen TV and Xbox 360 and keyboard and high-tech stuff. So living off the grid does not mean that you give anything up. In fact, living off the grid means you enhance your life and make it more convenient, not less. So all these people say, the Green New Deal, get ready to hide your cows. We'll show you the cows we have here. No cars, can't drive, can't fly anywhere, can't do anything. You're going to be living in a cave if you did a Green New Deal. And we're like, what planet are these people from? They're the shallowest thinkers that America has ever produced. These what I call wrong biblicans, who are using ancient misunderstandings, and they never seem to have heard the gospel or heard the New Testament, where Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount told us that God loves us so much that he will provide everything for us, as long as we're aware. Consider the lilies, consider the birds, right? So take Matthew 26, if you're a religious conservative like I am, and own it. Don't be a wrong biblican, and go back to Leviticus and go back to other old ancient misinterpretations, because there is abundance here, and science is the path to that abundance along with our faith. And we're living a nice nexus of scientific erudition and faith-based joy. And so one of the things, we had faith that yes, we could get off grid, and that faith turned out to be founded with the science, because here we are living the dream life at very, very low cost and very, very convenient. And the first thing that makes it convenient is we have free cooking fuel and heating water for our baths every single day. Show us about it. I know, it's amazing. What do we got here?
So you have a cooking stove.
Yeah.
Which I was never thinking you had a cooking stove. I felt like you cook outside,
Yeah,
actually.
we're out
barbecue.
there, sticks, rubbing sticks together, using flint.
American.
That's right.
No, you actually have a cooking stove, which is great. And what is
There's
even
several
better,
cooking
you use the gas from biogas, right?
Yes, we do.
So
Show
to heat
the
your stuff.
the potential other couples who want to live like this how we do it. Because now you're a first flamer, you've experienced it. See how simple it is. You get up in the morning to make your tea or to make your eggs, and what do you do?
Okay, so basically I press this button, which you have to remind me.
Yes, that's the pump.
That's the pump button.
That's run on solar energy.
That's running on solar energy. And after I turn this little guy here.
Right, which we could leave open all the time, but we close
For
it just
precaution.
because, yeah.
So this is basically allowing the
gas to flow, right, into the stove.
to the stove. And as easily as it is, you just turn the, how you call this in English?
Knob.
The knob. And you just, actually.
That's the hardest part of living off grid, using a Bic lighter. Oh my God, though, Tiziana, you're releasing gas through the kitchen. Isn't that dangerous?
Oh my gosh, it is. No, it actually is
it
not.
It actually isn't. Not with biogas.
Not
It's
with
really
biogas.
safe. So you have to put it that way.
You definitely have to.
Oh, you're right. This one got stuck. There we go.
Oh, it got stuck.
Yeah.
Here you go. Because as you can see.
Just turn it on first like you did before.
Oh, turn it off.
No, leave this on.
Okay.
Just let's get this on. All right, I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
My thumbs.
Thank you so much
I'm all
for
thumbs.
doing
All right.
this.
So what do we show here? It cannot ignite down here. right?
It's-
Because
there's
the
no
carbon
gas
dioxide
going all
there's
the way
no
in
gas
here.
down here.
There's no gas
Up
on
here,
here.
it won't light,
Yeah.
even though it's on, until I bring it down just about there.
So it's also
Mellow
awesome.
and safe.
So basically the methane stays only in one place, right?
Right,
Vertical.
what they call the stoichiometry, or the air to
Yeah.
fuel ratio. Stoichiometry is a term in chemistry for how many moles of one type of molecule mix with another type of molecule, and then certain chemical reactions occur when the stoichiometry is right. So metry, to measure, stoichio, some, I don't know, Greek word for mixing or something? I don't know, we have to look it up. That's why we have Google these days. But the stoichiometry, or the mixing of a measurement, is such that it will not burn or ignite
No.
up at the top, and it will not burn at the bottom. That's why it's safe to go ahead and blow it out.
Oh, to blow it up first,
Yeah.
definitely. There you go.
You see, it's easy to do. Now, in Palestine, when we were building biodigesters, families were delighted. Women would come and say, "This is amazing. I can leave my kids around the stove, and I don't worry, because if they knock the stove over, the flame goes out." It's much safer than using charcoal or wood or kerosene or
I can definitely
propane.
see it.
And as
It's
you can see, we're
amazing.
leaving it on here, and it's
No.
not igniting. And
No.
if I come down
And the
here,
smell is not as strong, but definitely
Right.
has a smell. But
when
it's
it's not
definitely as
burned,
strong.
yeah, when it's not
Yeah.
burned, you'll know it's on, which is a good safety thing. But it won't
Yeah.
set off the alarms because all the methane is going up and out the vent up there. And so it's the small molecule, CH4, or methane, is the lightest hydrocarbon. Hydrogen's smaller, but this is CH4, one carbon to four hydrogens. Very light, goes straight up in the air, and that's why I can't light it up here, because it's already dispersed. The air to fuel ratio is between 5 and 15% for ignition, and up here it is much lower than that, right? Same thing down here, it's too much carbon dioxide because it does have 30% carbon dioxide. So the only place to light it,
It's in the middle,
in the middle.
because it's where it is, right?
That's where the start see,
Yeah.
and how it sort of traveled down. Very safe to use indoors. You don't have to worry about explosions. So
No.
safer than anything else
Yeah.
you use now. So any couple that's thinking, should I go green with the Green New Deal, or should I stick with the barbarians at the gate? Go green. It's more convenient. It's safer and cheaper.
Definitely, I'm the proof.
There's the proof right there.
Look at that.
So you've got that. Okay, so that's one thing. We can blow that out. Of course, we can also go like this to put it out.
Oh my
I mean, the
God.
thing about biogas,
It's
it's
amazing.
that safe.
It's really
You
safe.
never do that
But
at
don't
all.
keep doing that. I
Right.
don't recommend you keep doing
Don't
that
do
because
that at
you're
home.
wasting energy.
You're
though.
wasting energy, and you'll end
Definitely.
up damaging your stove by banging on it. Okay,
So
so
you
that's
don't want
that. This is our Dometic hybrid refrigerator. It runs on gas or electricity. We do not use electricity for this because it's resistance heating of a pipe in the back that uses ammonia. It's an ammonia and hydrogen pipe for an absorption chiller, and that uses a lot of electricity. So we keep it on gas. We've run it on the biogas, but we're using propane now because we haven't gotten into the back and adjusted the jets and stuff, and I don't know if I want to damage the thing to do that. The stove is easy. This oven runs on propane as well. We decided not to modify it for biogas because, again, if you get into the back of it and you destroy the jets, it's hard to get back to to repair them. Not destroy, but if you change the jets, it's hard to get back to change it to go back to propane. So we keep this as a backup, but we don't use this stovetop. We use this, and for an oven, we have one outside. All the lights are LED lights, the big screen TV, the
And what do you generate your your
electricity for the microwave and for the
so
dishwasher.
From the solar panel?
Yeah, all from the solar panels. So let's go outside and take a look at them.
So cool. And
Here's
your TV too.
And it's, oh yeah,
And you have a big TV.
big. Oh, we have two of them. We got one in that room and one in that room.
You're off the grid with
We're
a big
off the
TV.
grid with two big TVs,
That's awesome.
big stereo system and DVD player and an Xbox 360 with a Kinect
Wow.
and
There you go.
a
Video games.
lightsaber.
This is a video game? This
It's
is
using a
video
lot of
game?
power. That's for video games.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
playing Star Wars.
You see, I'm already off the grid because I don't play video games.
Yeah, we play solar powered Fortnite. Solar powered Fortnite. So we have electric guitars and keyboards and that sort of stuff. Dishwasher and washing machine are small for a tiny house. These are really good.
Wow. Look at
Just
that.
got these from, I guess we got this from Home Depot. So you can get these things from Home Depot, and it's a small dishwasher and a small washing machine, but it works fine for a couple.
And-
So if you're an off-grid couple, the higher is the
Wow,
best
that's
one
pretty
we
big
found.
actually.
It's
You
pretty
can
darn
even
big.
put like a blanket inside,
Yeah.
which is really good.
And we use cold water because now the detergents with good enzymes, you can use cold water to save a lot. Sometimes we will heat the water for this, and it has an electric heater in it. Well, we generally don't use it, but we
Which
can.
kind of soap do you use? Biodegradable soap?
Yeah.
Great.
But I don't need to. In fact, what you used to think of as non-biodegradable soap, which was phosphorus-laden soap that caused eutrophication of body water with all the suds in, it was too much phosphorus, so it over-nutrified the bodies of water. Algae grew, and then it died and became hypoxic.
So you say all those detergents that they say biodegradable, like Echo, 7 generations.
You should definitely use those if you are on a traditional system that might have some drain into that beautiful lake over there or into the streams or whatever. In our case, all of our wastewater from the shower, from the sink, from the dishwasher and the washing machine goes into our biodigester where we want the phosphorus. So we don't care.
Okay.
We don't have to buy a special expensive soap because the nutrients that would cause problems if they got out into the wild are actually feeding the microbes in the digester.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
That is not to say you don't want anything toxic.
Today.
You don't want anything toxic
One
for
more
sure.
thing.
But if it's phosphorus, you're worried about phosphates. That old problem with phosphates, that's nutrition.
So if you were installing like a biodigester inside a building unit,
Yeah.
that could really resolve so many
so
problems,
many issues.
right?
Yeah. You're seeing it.
Wow, that's amazing.
In our case, we buy whatever we try to get eco-friendly, but we're not concerned about it because we have the biodigester. So we have the dishwasher, we've got the washing machine. They're really nice. We've got the shower. This little room here is a mess right now, but we have, just so you can, I'm doing a lot of electronics right now, but we have the keyboard and the synthesizers.
He's a musician.
Yeah, we got the
You're
keyboard.
right. You say that you sing, right?
Yeah, I got my electric guitar, my electric bass over there,
Wow, that's really cool.
but I've got to clean all this up.
What did you play? Did you play rock?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I write my own songs about environment. I have a song about biogas.
I know, I saw
Right,
it.
so that one-
I saw it in our classes.
So the computers and stuff, I can
Okay.
show you. This is again a mess, but the bathroom is very, very simple and very small.
Oh,
Sorry.
don't want to lock herself. Okay.
So the toilet goes.
Is it a compostable toilet?
No, it goes to the biodigester.
It goes to the biodigester. See? We can be off the grid
Right.
and still
So when we do our business,
pump.
it goes straight to the biodigester.
Toilet.
So does the shower.
Go there, just.
So the shower is heated by biogas, and so we have a hot shower on biogas, a toilet that goes to biogas. Everything goes back to the biogas. So whatever shampoos or soaps we use goes straight to the biogas.
So we don't need to worry about it.
Nope.
You don't need to spend more money buying all those biodegradable soaps. Additional money and just.
Buy from the Grove, and they're not very cheap,
Oh.
but they are eco-friendly. You know
Ah.
the
We just like the scents.
Mayor?
The Grove sells
don't
really nice
Oh
smelling-
yes, yes, I
Yeah.
know.
You know that.
Yeah.
So
Susanna.
Sorry.
they're a little
Oh,
pricey,
where's
but
the
I
where's
mean,
the
they
lighter?
smell nice and they're good.
Something that I always wanted to know, it was dishwasher and those washing machine. Do we really need to have a specific soaps? Can we just use Dr. Bronner soap?
Yeah, you can
To wash, right?
How we made when we made our decision for that, we wanted something that cleans and works with cold water because we didn't want to waste energy heating the water and to wash clothes. So we wanted something in the detergent that cleans with a cold water.
Ah.
Did you get
No, I understand what you mean. So
Yeah.
it's basically
energy efficiency kind of.
this.
So we at least, because our dishwasher, we couldn't control that. Our dishwasher heats the water and we lose.
Yeah, the Dr. Bronner's pure
That's for our
cassette soap.
shampoo.
We lose
Yeah.
a little of our energy. So it's more of how you budget your energy consumption. But for our washing machine, we thought if we can buy a washing machine that cleans clothes with cold water, then we have to get good detergents to deal with that. So some people say you have to have hot water to clean stuff,
Yeah,
right?
to kill the bacteria.
Right.
That's what they keep saying
But
to us.
that
Yeah.
could be also in the detergent. So you don't need always to use a cold water for that. You could find a
Ah, I
detergent
didn't know that. I thought like it was both combined. Like we
You
use
can
cold
do
water
both if
to
you-
wash, But I didn't know that you could find the
Yeah.
features in the hot water inside a detergent that you can use in the
Yeah,
cold
I
water.
can show you what I have.
Ah, this is really cool.
So if you put the camera down here,
Ah, okay. So I will wait here and.
this is our outdoor oven.
Oops, sorry.
For making, cakes or pizzas or whatever.
Oh, so this is like the pizza oven.
Yeah.
Modernized.
You'd have to put your.
Can I ask you a question? Did you guys recycle all this?
Yeah,
you
this is
bought
an
it
old.
in
This
this
is
is
an
all
old one.
secondhand
This
stuff,
was just
right?
secondhand. This was given to
That's
us by one of our
awesome.
students, Janice Kadeja.
That's cool.
And you can just see the
Ah, so
flame
this is
down
Wow.
there.
all the soap that you wash. Okay.
Yeah, this is the 7th generation.
Yeah, this is what we get at home. We get the Echoes and we get the 7th generation.
Yeah, I use the Echoes as well.
Yeah.
And it's actually affordable. It's not expensive.
No, the Echoes is getting
But
very
I
affordable.
couldn't find the one that works with cold water. But Tide does this. So
Oh,
it's
really?
eco-friendly. Yeah, if you read here somewhere.
Oh, it definitely has the label
Yeah.
of the USDA, which I'm familiar with the
Uh,
label. But I'm still skeptical with that
Yeah.
label. Because I still think like we need
you
to
don't
have,
have to worry about it.
but you don't need to worry about
It's
it.
a-
No,
non-
because look at that beautiful flame. Go right under there. Keep going under. There you go. That beautiful flame, which you can now see there, that is all the carbon and hydrogen that comes out of whatever detergent you're putting in. As for the phosphorus, the nitrogen, any other nutrients, elements, they go into the fertilizer that comes out. So as long as you have abundant plant life,
Yeah.
you're not going to get any of these contaminants into the water. It's not like these things have contaminants unless it's something that is deliberately antibacterial. That may kill the microbes in the digester. That would be bad. But if it's not antibacterial, the microbes are going to eat everything else and turn it into either methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, or liquid fertilizer. And that's why you don't worry about that.
So
That's a
this has the
beautiful flame there.
enzymes that cleans. It says here what is it made of, plant-based cleaner or something like that. But also it cleans in cold water.
You can feel good about it. A powerful bleach.
So always read the labels and
Yeah.
definitely make sure what you're putting right inside.
Yeah, I mean we could pay a little bit more for other stuff, but
It's
we
a
thought
rip-off.
it's more affordable and it does what we wanted it to do. So.
Ah, it's from Procter Gamble, which I
Yeah.
didn't know it was from Procter
We
Gamble.
also have ant remedy because we got some electric ants here in Florida, like fire ants and electric ants. So we spray.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's made of. It's all.
So,
Can you
well,
hold it down? Or
as New Yorkers, we definitely need to know
Oh,
about
yeah.
this.
these are
Oh,
an
we don't
invasive
need
species
to.
of ant that have come in from
Wow.
Central and South rainforests that have been cut down and monocropping agriculture, and they love disturbance. And they're so tiny, that they're the size of a pinhead. They're so small you can
Wow.
almost not see them unless you get really up close, and I need glasses to see them.
So
They're
you
that
made
tiny.
like a
they
special
sting
I
like
potion?
didn't
crazy.
make it.
Ah.
That's I
Now in
had to
Florida.
buy it.
So
It's-
you buy
They
it.
live
I
in
may
your
I tried
walls,
different
they'll live in your
recipes
ceiling,
like
they've lived on
different
backpacks,
kind
they'll
of
make nests anywhere.
oils,
Like you could turn this
spray,
over and
like
find a
mix
nest
it with
with them right here.
water.
And this
but
you
this is
So
very
you really
powerful,
have to
and I
watch
had
out
to
because
buy
they're-
it. It
they're
was a little
destroying
bit pricey,
Hawaii.
but it works
And
very.
so they've
Wow.
blinded dogs
And
to
this you
hats,
use for
and they
yourself,
swim, and
No, for when I see the
the plants,
there are
Everything that
ants
we do,
and
you have to
around
put,
in the
um,
house
Yeah,
and the
just
plants.
spray
You have to
and
put
just like- it's a
Tanglefoot,
surface,
a sort of
cleaner.
gluey
But
type
it's
substance
it-
wherever
it kills the
kills
plants.
place that
ants
touches the
and
ground.
get
You have
rid
to
of
put a
that.
glue
Wow.
so that the
And
ants
it
can't
also
get
doesn't
past.
have toxin
You're
materials
gonna hate
or
these ants
chemicals
if
that's
they
gonna
get to your
go
house. Watch for them.
into our environment
Really,
around
they're
us.
new.
So this is really
They've not
good.
been here.
So,
Now
yeah,
I'm
we
curious.
make
I
sure-
definitely want to
They've been
Google
in
to
Florida.
find
So
out
it
about
has
how it looks,
some-
this ant.
Yeah, it has some cottonseed
They will
oil,
they will get into
active
people's
ingredients,
shoes and in their
clove
luggage.
oil.
And the males can
They
turn
say
into
other
females.
ingredients. They won't tell
So
you
males can
everything
turn
yet.
into
I think they
queens.
didn't want
So
you to
it's-
replicate the recipe.
Any ant
Okay.
you bring could
But
potentially
it's
turn
more
into a
like
queen.
kind of
It's
natural
amazing survival
and
strategy.
also
And they have multiple
eco-friendly.
queens
Where
per
did you
nest.
find it? You can find it in any
bought it
supermarket?
Anywhere.
Online?
I online order it from
Okay.
the same company that sells the washing soap, dishwashing soap
Sorry.
and stuff. The Grove.
Grove.
They're in California. I'm just looking,
Ah.
but it's
Yeah, because I'm finding like different companies for the dishwashers now. They have one like it's a little I put it in my Instagram. I can put it in a Facebook. It's this company who actually use a biodegradable package inside, and it comes inside a paper cardboard box, so there's no plastic at all.
That's for your dishwasher.
And that's for the dishwasher.
I have
Yeah,
this.
I wanted to order that for us actually, but we use for our dishwasher now. We're using this other company. What's the name? And it comes inside a cardboard, and it has an aluminum, but it has a coated plastic on the cardboard. And
I
that's
can
why I
show
want
you
to
what
switch
we
to this
have.
company.
It's similar
Yeah.
to what you're describing, but without plastic.
Definitely to promote the
Yeah.
non-plastic
Non-plastic.
packaging.
And as you can
right?
see, although this is a mess today, we have all the bins for each type of plastic. So
Ah,
this one
and
here,
you
yeah,
don't,
this is
it's
good.
just a powder.
Yeah. So ours, the one that you use, is exactly the same way. It's actually the way I grew up. This is how
Yeah,
it
that's
was
how
the
we all did it.
packaging. You know, it was this aluminum little.
But you can
hook,
still
and-
buy it.
Yeah, and I bet it has the coated plastic here too, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because ours, it has. I could see it inside.
Maybe
it has
wax.
A sliding, yeah, like a wax.
And the wax
coated.
is okay. The wax will break down.
It will break down, right?
So we have a solar-powered paper
Yeah.
shredder, and we can just shred our cardboard and
But it's
paper in
just,
it.
like powder in it.
Powder.
There is no
Yeah,
plastic.
mine too.
Yeah.
At home. Yeah, it's a really
So-
good, great brand. We buy actually through Amazon, and
That's
we get
what I'm
it
looking at right
cheaper.
now.
We
To see
get
which.
it cheaper. I can definitely put all this into the Facebook.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and definitely Publix, and we're recording this, so it's really good.
Yeah. And
So
as we
guys,
mentioned,
try to get those products at home and try them out and tell us what you think about it.
absolutely. And as we pointed out, all plastics, metal, glass, all separated, all kept. We made a pledge on our wedding anniversary, which we encourage all couples to do. Whatever
Oh.
anniversary you're celebrating, make the pledge first. No single-use plastic. That's the National Geographic No Single-Use Plastic Pledge.
We should do
Plastic
it,
or planet.
Justin.
Yeah.
Second pledge, which we did a year later, was we're not taking out the garbage ever again. We're adults. We're responsible. We paid
Wow.
for it. We're responsible for it. We brought it home. It's not going to go anywhere. If we can't figure out a way to recycle it, use it, sell it, make it into some good, then we're not going to impose a bad on society. So 100%. Now, fortunately, we have a biochar and aluminum making process going here, and we use polyethylene and polypropylene, which are clean burning, as starter fuel to get our kiln going so that we can turn our aluminum cans into cool, whoa,
We can
cool
also
shapes.
think, I mean, if you
So
know about something
there's
that's
a little Mickey Mouse we're working on.
yeah.
So we're refining this process using molds.
Sometimes
This one got stuck, this bird, so that's not so good. The elephant worked out well. This elephant was what we used to make this elephant ingot over there. So all of our aluminum cans are now being turned into aluminum objects, and our aluminum foil is being turned into hydrogen gas and aluminum powder by putting some sodium hydroxide on it, so we don't have any aluminum foil problem. The polypropylene and polyethylene, as I said, we're using a starter fuel. It's cleaner than burning wood or charcoal. So for example, if you have one of these, this can be used as a starter fuel for any combustion process. And it burns cleaner than, say, if you're doing barbecuing, than charcoal. So we've run out of HDPE. You can also recycle it. LDPE, also low density polyethylene, burns very clean. So we can use that as a starter fuel. There is a company we met at the Sustaining Foundation at the Green Drinks event a couple weeks ago. They're taking low density polyethylene, high density polyethylene, polypropylene, which all are clean burning, and they're shredding it and compressing it into fuel blocks that they're then giving to the cement factories. Cement factories use that instead of using coal. And coal's a very dirty and dangerous fuel. Radiation comes from coal burning, arsenic comes from coal burning, a lot of hydrocarbons in the smoke. So these plastics, having already previously been refined, burn very clean, especially at those temperatures, and then whatever little residual of ash is left goes into the cement making. So it's a much more efficient process than using coal. So who knew? So this company is doing well making coal brick replacements out of this. And so we're thinking if there's anything we can't use here, we'll save up enough of it that we will be able to sell it when there's a commodities market for coal replacement for big industrial operations like cement making. So you don't want to throw these hydrocarbons away. That's the point. They were oil, and we got it out of the ground, and we condemned a lot of our brothers and sisters who were going to defend our country to go overseas and try to defend and protect supply lines to make these wealthy corporations earn higher profits. All right, it's already here. The oil's been turned into plastic. The last thing you want to do is get rid of it. Keep those hydrocarbons and find alternate uses. We're going to be doing 3D printing with some of it. This is, of course, the cans that we make those aluminum ingots out of. So we have that.
But I think you also make a good point, because when you're talking about this other company and all this other stuff, is that the whole aim with sustainability is that all these are business opportunities.
Yeah.
Just from everything we're just talking about, like there's any number of things that you can then create a business out of to replace the the fossil fuel focused economy that we have right now.
Exactly.
And, this stuff would, because we're throwing this stuff out and having cities repay taxes for the cities to dump it out somewhere else.
Yep.
And instead of doing that, they could save money on the taxes instead of doing that, and actually create businesses from that and actually generate economy and generate jobs that are much better than having to deal with all this waste.
Exactly.
This is a great way of keep creating instead of having the taxes go towards just putting waste out somewhere else, or creating pollution and empty lots. You're actually incentivizing an economy within the city, and also, or anywhere really, creating new jobs and creating a better economy, more resilient economy, not just a resilient environment, but a resilient economy.
Exactly.
Because you have diversity.
Exactly so.
Yeah.
And that, I think, that's the point that we were trying to make inside earlier about these weird Fox News fears about the Green New Deal, which is really just a set of recommendations. It's not it's not even a plan. It's an idea for us to debate. And of course, these crazy people are saying, oh, it's going to make society, the economy collapse, and it's going to restrict your freedoms. And here we are living the life of Riley and saving money and earning money because of these business opportunities. Even if you come over here, this mess back here is 2 years of cardboard and paper, and we're just trying to see, if we just leave it, how quickly it degrades in the rain. So that ultimately we're going to shred it and use it. But we use this as a weed suppressant in the garden over there, and it's a great use of getting the carbon back in. Of course, we could burn it if we wanted it to, but there's very little difference between that and leaves, and so they're degrading at about the same rate. We want to accelerate that degradation. People may have an objection to the look of a color of that Larabar cherry pie thing, or the roasted chestnuts. That's an aesthetic choice, and we can always cover this as well. And of course, it will degrade faster once I put a tarp on it, and then moisture will get into the tarp, and it'll endlessly, it'll let the fungi do their job. But just the idea here was to see, what if we took all of our paper and plastic, we did, not plastic, paper and cardboard. We did grind a lot of our cardboard in the paper grinder, in the, what do you call it, paper shredder that we have, a document shredder. And that just took some labor. It's fine, it's solar powered, so it didn't hurt anything in that regard. But now we're just seeing if we just leave it, what happens. And then we compare shredding or non-shredding. We have rainwater capture over here. Why wouldn't you? Why would you not capture the rain since it's free water, right? And then that goes in. So we also have a well. So between the well and the rainwater, we're doing fine. This is a gas holder for the biogas. That is just an IBC tank floating in an IBC tank. We can feed it also, but we rarely do because we have the toilet digester over there under the RV, and then we have another digester for food waste. It's got an Arduino microcontroller ping sensor that reports to me how much gas I have up in there. And then that's correlated with temperature probes that are in the digester. So there's that. This didn't work out so well because the shading, we wanted to see if we could grow food here. The food isn't growing so well. The papaya cactus is really slow growing, and the aloe, so we're not using this anymore. We're going to remove this garden area, but we thought it would be good for shade-tolerant plants. But it's now we have stuff in the sunlight. But let's go talk about the sun. Well, we did show the kiln we showed, right? And we used the bottles because we're using the incinerator to grind the glass, and then we're using the microwave kiln. And here's what we just got. Here's that messed up one. That one didn't work out so well, did it? Yeah, that one didn't work because it's. I don't even think I can get this one out. Yeah, it wasn't a good paint job. See how it's fused to it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's our microwave kiln. So we learned something from that one. But so we have a nice one. We'll turn the glass into. Inas, can you just grab that little piece that we just got, the glass piece?
But in the same time,
What we're doing with the incinerator is we're grinding up powder out of glass bottles without removing the labels. And we're making
What do you
little
learn?
pieces of jewelry.
Well,
That has to be reglued, a little heart
Like
there.
we use cocoa flour, banana flour.
So, and then Inas has the best one that we've gotten.
Free, but
This
he
one
introduced
here.
again the gluten, so I eat some gluten still.
This is today's prize. So that was made with glass powder from our bottles using this mold here.
Brazilian.
This mold was made using a toy in some refractory cement and then painted with a boron nitride glass release. And then we put the powder of the glass that we got from the incinerator, we ground it and put different colors in, and we got that. So that's nice. Anyway, let's go look at the energy. You want to see Tiziana?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So when you're doing off-grid living in the RV, I'll show you over here. The RV generally comes with one backup battery. And this battery here is being charged. It's, if we have an emergency, it will power the DC systems in the house, meaning just the lights, essentially. And we don't use it, it's a backup. We keep it charged. This is the battery that comes. Yeah. The battery that comes with an RV
Yeah.
is a single deep cycle battery,
Okay.
and we keep it charged by some solar panels. It's a backup. If all the power goes out, it will power the DC side of the lights. So
Wow.
just the lights inside.
That's just really small battery.
It's very small. It's
That's
just,
amazing.
It's just for the lights, and we keep it trickle charged with these panels here.
Did you have any problems sometime? How often if this happened?
We've used it twice in the past 2 years.
Wow.
These I have to clean a bit from bird poop. But these are the things they sell for the RV, and they're fairly expensive, so you want to
Which
wait till they come on
kind?
sale. These are amorphous silicon
Ah.
solar panels, and they're each 25 watts. So we got 4 of them. There's one over there, but that is just trickle charging in the dappled sunlight, keeping that battery peaked out.
Okay.
That's not how we power the RV.
It would be interesting to know how much energy do you use and how much is produced and how much is left. Do you use everything?
No. We used to when we had 4 batteries.
Oh.
So I'll show you. This is powering the whole house. Right here. These are new solar panels from new. They're about 2 years old. We got them on Amazon Prime. Paid $130 per panel with free shipping on Amazon Prime.
Where did you get that? Is it somebody just selling them out of their home?
No, it's a company. 2 different companies. Are
Wow,
different
so
types
they
of panels.
recycle them. They don't try to, or we're
No,
just
no,
selling for new.
This is new.
Wow, okay.
You go to Amazon, you go to Amazon Prime, do Amazon Smile and do Solar
Wow.
Cities at Amazon Smile. That'll help us out. But yeah, you buy them for $130 a panel, and they ship them, you know, within three to 4 days. And you got the panels. Each one of these is 100 watts, and they are monocrystalline silicon. And then I have over here 4 panels that I had when I was off-grid in Los Angeles 20 years ago that I had shipped over. That one is still working like the day it came out of the box.
Wow.
These 3 have degraded.
Is it, that's the way they degrade it?
The degrading thing is where you see discoloration up there.
It's like those blue.
It should be dark blue. This is what it looks like when it's brand new, and this one is 20 years old. So this one
Wow.
is looking just as good as when it was new.
Looks
But these
like
ones have degraded.
crystals.
They are crystals. It's called polycrystalline as opposed to monocrystalline.
Yeah, it looks like crystals.
Yeah, and these are each 100 watts, but you can see they're a bit bigger than the monocrystalline to get the same
After, you
output.
can probably reuse them to make jewelry.
Yes, you can. Yeah, people are, you know, the anti-Green
That's a really
New Deal
cool
crowd.
thing.
There are people who go, oh, solar panels, what are we going to do at the end of their useful life? They're
Yes,
toxic.
I'm one of them actually.
Were
Sorry.
you?
Sorry,
Oh, you
guys.
wrote about that. That's right.
No. Did I write
Yes,
about
you
this?
did. You did. I almost failed her. No, I wanted to get into a debate with you about it. So, they're glass, right? It's silicon, it's sand. So, the only things that make solar panels somewhat problematic is possible dopants to carry electrons. And in these, it's usually boron and what's the other dopant? They make them using fluoric acid, but that's fluorine, that's like fluoride, which they put in our drinking water for stupid reasons anyway. The ones people are worried about that you talked about in your summary is cadmium, cadmium sulfide and
I don't
cadmium
think
telluride.
it was me.
No?
Yes, it was. I remember talking to you about
Yeah?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God, I don't remember. Sorry,
You don't,
guys.
on the commercial market, you don't buy cadmium or gallium-based silicon cells. These are silicon oxide. I mean, basically sand with some aluminum and doped with some boron, some fluorine. It's very, very safe. There's no arsenic in this. So, and the other thing is they're inert. So nothing, if you put this in a landfill, it would just sit there for eons and eons and eons. It's not like these crystals are going to leach into the water.
Mm-hmm.
No, but seriously, this is a really cool material. If you think about it, if you can repurpose it for something else, that'd be really
Oh yeah,
cool.
it can make nice wall
Wow.
paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
But this one, as I said, 20 years old, working as good as the day it was bought. These degraded by weather because they were not well sealed. And that's just a matter of the sealing.
Like a computer circuit.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So I have 600 watts peak here. They're just sitting on stands on blocks. And when the hurricane came, we just untwisted these and laid them flat. And then you put them back up when the hurricane passes.
You not worry when the tree comes down or something like that, cannot break them?
They could, but the tree's way over there.
But if you fly away.
If it
and-
flew away, yeah.
Yeah.
So we might take them in. I mean, it depends on the strength of the hurricane. So
I'm
let me
thinking
show
too
you
much.
how the power gets
Okay.
used.
Yeah.
This is direct current energy, and direct current needs to be in fairly large wires if you're going to have it travel any significant distance, or it has to be at a really high voltage. I got a 12-volt system.
Wow.
So what I have is I have 6 panels going directly into a charge controller that can handle 30 amps, and they each peak at 5 amps. So I can only put 6 panels in one. I got 4 panels going in the other. What's happening is the charge controllers then are going into the same battery bank, where I have 6 batteries. I used to use 4 for about a year, and then on cloudy weeks I would run out of power. So I added 2 more batteries, and now with 6 I have never run out of power. But of course we don't use the air conditioning. We use fans because we're parked under that. Yeah. Oh, it must have jumped in.
You know, it's amazing
Okay.
because I'm not as familiar as it is with all the stuff with energy, but it's amazing how much you need for your trailer, right? This is only for like 2 people? Is it for 2 people?
Well,
or?
you could have 10 people in there, and we'd use the same amount of power. I
And
mean,
you
the
see
light's the
amount
light.
of power. Wow. Okay.
Right? We run the microwave maybe a half an hour a day.
I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's. I'm just trying. I'm just visually like seeing it now, and I
Mhm.
see how much you need in order to. It's not big, actually.
No, no.
It's definitely not big.
And the only reason these
Yeah.
batteries aren't in the RV is because I need to have the shortest run from the panels to the batteries, so I don't spend a lot of money on cables. Once I've converted with the inverter from DC power to AC power, I run just a traditional, extension cable all the way to the RV, and I lose no energy, or very little. I mean, enough that it's negligible. So you want to do your conversion, you want to do your battery filling and your conversion right near the solar panels, and then you can run this as long as you want. And this is just from Harbor Freight. It's a 2,000 watt inverter. I have a 1,500 watt in case something happens to this. I can switch to this, so I always have a backup.
You always have a backup.
In case the
And
electronics
how
go
long
bad
do
in
they
this.
last?
The batteries should last me between 5 and 10 years, depending on how deeply I cycle them. Batteries cost about $150 to $200 each.
Okay.
So I spent roughly $1,000 on the batteries. And then this cost me $300.
When
This
you
cost
say-
$250.
When you say upcycle them, what does
No,
it mean?
deep cycle. So
Deep cycle.
these are heavy-duty lead-acid batteries that are sealed, and heavy plates of metal can be cycled down to a drain where the battery's gone below 10 volts, and then filled up to 13, then down and up. The more you cycle them, the more they wear out. And after a certain number of cycles, the battery's dead. Now, if you keep them at a higher voltage and you don't drain them, it's fewer cycles and they last longer. It depends on how deep. Like if I started running the air conditioner off of these,
Yeah.
the battery life would go down by half. So I don't run the air conditioner.
I see. Or you get a passive house.
Yeah, or you get a passive, which that is not. But it's very simple.
Can you retrofit? Can you retrofit his bed?
Then
So
it's gonna be expensive.
If you look over here, just the panels come
I'm
in.
just kidding.
Panels come in here. That's it, and then it goes out to the goes from the charge controller, and then into the batteries, and then into the inverter.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you are in the countryside, right? You have all those insects. They don't eat your wires. They
No.
don't eat anything. They just hang out.
You just hang out.
So you don't need to have any worries about that.
No, I mean these are sealed, and the only places where there's a penetration is where the cap is here. That what I don't like is that corrosion. That's not a good thing. So I got to figure out why I'm getting so much corrosion on that particular terminal and not the others. But otherwise, they're just sealed plastic containers, and ants are down at the bottom doing whatever they do. We did have a lizard crawl into one of the inverters and kill it over there, so you do want to seal out critters that are just small enough to get in, but big enough to cause
Okay.
a problem. But the ants haven't caused a problem.
As you could see, coming from the city, I have all those questions about animals.
But I
and
did this in the
insects.
city. I did this in Los
Oh, you
Angeles.
did this in the city. Okay.
I mean,
you help
I had this in my next to the bathroom on a shelf. I had all these batteries in the city, and I ran the wires down the.
Yeah, this
air
is
shaft.
something that I really have to get familiar with. I'm not familiar with all those batteries. And are you familiar?
Yes.
Oh, you probably are.
So when I was in Los Angeles at the Echo Village there, I put the same number of panels on the roof on an old futon frame. This is just a wooden frame here. And then I ran the wires down the bathroom shaft and then into the bathroom window, made a little hole, ran them in, had these on the whatever, the dresser.
Uh-huh.
And then I wired my apartment so it distributed the electricity to the whole apartment. And I shut myself off the grid so there was no grid power coming in. And I lived off grid in the city for 3 years. And it was really easy because the distribution system's already in the apartment. So if you take the grid off and cap that so you never touch their power, you just use the wiring that's in the walls to just run a regular house.
Wow.
And this is the size system that most people need. 1 kilowatt is fine if you're not running air conditioning.
And that can serve like
Well, you saw microwave, big screen TVs. Depends on, you don't turn everything on all at once, right?
I want from it's individual.
Yeah. And we've measured the amount that each
So you
appliance
cook
uses.
how many meals per day? 3 meals?
2 usually.
2?
Yeah.
So with 2 meals, you still have a lot of power left.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? That's good.
We could do 3.
You can do 3.
And
No
we watch
problem.
we watch movies until 2 in the morning.
Wow. And you play video games
Play
too.
video games. Yeah.
This is really good.
So that's the electric system. And then we have
And you have a volleyball court, which is really cool.
the family here has this wonderful volleyball court.
That's really cool.
Uh,
So I wish you used the glass.
Exactly. This solar hot water system, somebody with a weed walker. So that's not working right now, but it was a setup. for
Mostra
vacuum
pra eles.
tube. This we made with our Patel students, and I need to touch it up. I need to paint it, but if you touch it, you'll see how hot it is.
Did you see?
I made this in Brazil. Too.
Did you? You made
Yes,
that?
I
Okay.
took a class on it, and I made one in Brazil. That was exactly this.
I have no
It's
idea.
very effective. The
Yeah.
only thing is we didn't put glass on, and I have to re-put it. We're using stretch wrap because it's cheaper, but it has to be replaced every couple of months.
We're running out of battery on this thing.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
Okay.
15%.
So basically, what we do is
Probably can use my Facebook.
we'll just
How to do it.
we'll just put more stretch wrap over it, and it'll work really well for a few months, and then we'll have to.
This
replace
is
the
what I
stretch
always
wrap.
wanted to understand. Why do you use plastic wrap? Because
Because it's
it
cheaper.
doesn't melt with the heat of Florida.
No, it just. I mean, you can see it. We have to replace it now. It was more the storms that got rid of it.
And it lasts long? How long does it last?
3-4 months.
So what do you do with this after that?
Oh, it's low density polyethylene. We can recycle it. We can burn it for
You can
making
just burn it.
biochar.
Wow. Okay.
But that's really just to increase the efficiency of the
Yeah.
hot water, right? You don't actually need it.
Right. If you have if this gets hot enough, as it is right now, you should get the hot water, but
Do you remember you showed me this university who has this wall of algae, and it's what is it? It's in Germany. Do you remember, Justin? You sent that to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it. Do you want to talk about it? Because you probably know better than I do.
I don't remember all the details.
I know
of
they
that
made
place.
this wall in university. They took a whole facade from the university.
It's not working very well
Oh, it's not working?
because I don't have the plastic on it.
Oh, I see.
Mm.
So this is a first generation biodigester.
No,
right?
no, this is hot water. Oh, that's
This
what
is a digester?
This is
This
a
is
digester?
definitely a first generation.
The digester
like a
holds up
Wally.
the water tank, so I needed a stand for the water tank. So I thought, why don't I make
Yeah.
a digester to stand for the water tank to save space, and then I have another pipe so I can heat the digester from some of the hot water.
It looks like it come from Mars.
Yeah. We used to take buckets of hot water and bathe with them until we started doing biogas hot water.
So
But
this was your first
This
prototype.
is our first prototype.
Yeah, that looks like
Yeah.
it. Looks like really like.
And we did at one point, we pumped the water all the
Yeah.
way here into the shower. The problem is it lost so much heat getting it all the way that it
Mm.
wasn't worth it because you had to wait a long time for the cold water to leave the line.
Yeah.
So it was easier to just carry a bucket because the bucket stays hot.
I see.
So now with the biogas, the gas goes all the way there.
But you know, I'm just very curious because I'm mentioning
Mhm.
about this university in Germany. Is they use a wall like that with
Yeah,
algae inside.
yeah, you can do that.
Can you do that here?
You
That
can
will
do it.
help you for anything in a sense.
Love you to come here and experiment. That's what this place is for.
Yeah.
It's every idea when students ask, could we do this or could we do that? Our answer is yes, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody or any ecosystem. If it does no harm and you have an idea you want to try, Rosebud Continuum Sustainability Education Center is for you. We encourage all students to come up and try that.
But the idea of this solar algae panel, it's not even a solar, right, Justin? It was producing
No, it's
what?
it was producing algae to be burned as biofuel.
It was to produce
Yeah.
algae to be burned as a biofuel.
This is
Yeah.
the famous
Wow.
moringa tree,
I will look into it.
which
Ah.
you can eat everything from it.
Is it that tree that we have all around Tampa?
No,
It looks like
this
that
is an
one.
African tree,
This is
but you
nothing.
can try it.
You can eat it?
Yeah, it's kind of bitter. Hey OJ,
You don't get sick from it.
OJ, I got some moringa for you, buddy.
Are you talking to the cow?
Yeah. Hey OJ.
It's a
It's a-
woman, right?
It's a he.
That's a he.
He's a bull.
The bull. Okay, I tried the plant and it's actually really delicious. Do you use it as an herb?
Yeah, here.
Oh my gosh! My first contact ever with a Florida cow. This is so excited. Oh, it's a he. It's a he. It's a he. What a beautiful animal. Thank God we reduce on red meat. We should definitely eliminate it. This is
These
such
are
a
our
beautiful
friends,
creature.
Tiziana and Justin.
I'm definitely not gonna eat you. You're beautiful. Oh my God, what a beautiful animal.
Yeah. What we've learned here-
Wow.
I love it when he licks my arm.
Beautiful. It looks the size of a buffalo. Is a buffalo even bigger?
Yeah, the buffaloes are big.
Oh my
You want
God.
this? So what we learned was the cows, they would prefer tree leaves, oak trees, the
Who
Liriodendron
doesn't?
trees,
Right?
the moringa. They prefer that
Oh.
to grass.
I think he wants more than that. I think he likes the human
He
touch.
does. He loves the human touch.
He loves the human touch.
So we're talking in class about the silvopastoral systems, where you try to grow as many different tree and shrub crops for grazing livestock, not grass. Grass is actually the worst thing that they can eat. There's this whole rainforest beef thing in Brazil, right? Should we cut down the forest to grow pasture for cows and then sell cheap beef to fast food restaurants? Turns out when I visited my friend Alonso Martinez in Mexico, in Yucatan, he has a plantation of breadnut trees, Maya breadnut trees, and all the cattle graze on the leaves of those trees and then keep it trimmed down, and the cattle are much healthier. And so they want to grow a forest for the animals, not cut the forest for the animals. And then it maintains fertility. So even this, in a sense, there's too much open space here. We should have more low-growing trees and shrubs, and then you just fence them off so that the trees can't get
He
destroyed.
looks happy. He's shaking
very
his tail.
Yeah,
He's definitely
he likes
happy.
people a lot.
So why we have him here? What's the reason?
They love cows.
Oh,
So they've got this one and the females over
he
there.
licked me.
Yeah,
Oh, look at his big
he's
teeth.
got very big teeth. Very
You know what I find out? They have 5 stomachs, right? How
Four.
many?
Four.
4. That's
Yeah.
4 stomachs. Amazing.
And they don't belch as much methane when they're free range as they do in a concentrated animal feedlot. So all the people who've been saying that we need to reduce the number of cattle so that we can help stop greenhouse gas emissions, they're not understanding that it's not the cattle that are the problem, it's the way that the cattle are being fed.
Good.
Because we're using fossil fuels to artificially grow grains that could never have grown in such abundance, and then we feed those grains to cattle,
Yeah.
and then they're farting out a carbon that they would have never taken
But
in.
it kills them too,
Yeah.
like the corn. I was
Yeah.
hearing the corn gets stuck in the stomach until a
Yep.
certain point they cannot get digested
Yeah.
properly, and that can definitely, I don't know if it suffocates them or I'm totally wrong. What does it
I
do?
don't know that.
But I know the corn.
Corn is terrible
It's
for them.
terrible for them. Yeah.
What they should be. Joel Salatin does this wonderful thing called salad bar beef, where the cows are constantly grazing on a polyculture of different shrubs and trees and plants, and like they're getting kind of enjoy the salad bar. And they're very, very healthy. And then they end up bringing the nutrients back to the soil. Then they have free-range chickens picking through the cow patties and putting more nitrogen in that way, and scratching out insect larvae so there are fewer so-called bugs. It all works. You need animals in a healthy system. And that's where we need to get our vegetarian and vegan allies to understand the roles of animals in a system. And if they don't want to eat them, that's one thing, but we should have the animals in
We
the
still
system.
have it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I agree with you on that.
Necessary. And we have the authentic teepee, Lakota Sioux teepee, because the owner of the property, Sonny and Marianne Bishop, Sonny was born on the Rosebud Reservation in,
Oh, you have another one there too.
yeah,
It's a cow. That's
So
the
this one
female.
is,
That's a
wife,
female,
his
yeah.
wife.
Yes.
Okay. They have a couple.
so to speak.
That's so
Um, The biodigesters are these here. You can see we have 6 more solar panels and a windmill on that one.
So you have, oh wow.
This, this is proof positive that the biodigestate is the best fertilizer in the world, because this is a sand mound, and the sand, when we poured it, this is what it looked like. So if you can imagine that this entire mound was just sand with no nutrition, but the overspill from the digester is here,
Oh my god.
and this wonderful salad green portulaca volunteered, and it's so lush.
You eat this?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
This is a salad?
Yeah, portulaca.
From where?
It's native to Florida. This was a volunteer. We didn't plant
This
this.
is native to
Yeah,
Florida.
it just volunteered.
So they sell that in a supermarket?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because there's no commodities market for it.
And this is a native from Florida.
No.
That makes sense to grow it and eat it then.
Oh yeah.
It's high in what?
Vitamin C.
Okay, I'm gonna try
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I get sick, which I don't think.
Well, we have 3 identical digesters here. One is buried below ground, one is half buried, and one is above ground, but they're the same.
It tastes really good actually.
It's very good.
You can do like a quinoa. You can put it inside with tomatoes and
stevia.
onions.
Look at the stevia.
You have stevia here?
Look.
Oh
This,
my
we
God.
planted this. This is volunteer.
So which one is this? The same?
Uh-huh. Yeah, stevia is really good.
I never seen stevia in my entire life. For the first time I see stevia.
Now you see it.
Here you go.
Oh.
This is what they put in Coca-Cola, right?
Something happened.
Yeah, that's what they do. Coca-Cola does that.
Oh,
Oh my god.
something
This is
happened with the
different.
video.